Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on the Lil'X YouTube channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at the LG Optimus T by T-Mobile, which was my first ever Android phone and I guess smartphone. I never really had a smartphone before this. Now backtracking a couple years, it was the year before I was going into high school, the year before I was going to become a freshman in high school. My sister was like, hey, you're going into high school, you're going to need a phone. Here is my old phone. So this was actually a hand-me-down from my sister, which I thank her a lot. You know, I think before this I had an iPod second generation, which I used pretty much throughout middle school. But anyways, coming back to the LG Optimus T, I remember enjoying this phone a lot, and why not go ahead and check it out right now in 2024, see what features it still has compared to newer phones, and what features have died since then. Now this phone was released back in 2010, and whenever it came out it was a low budget entry option. Now as we boot it up here, or you know what, let's go ahead and take a look around the device. Here we have our 3.2 inch TFT display with a pixel quantity of 320 by 480 and a total pixel count of 180 pixels per inch. We have our menu button here, home button, back button, and then our search button. These were actual physical buttons, as you can hear. You could actually click them. We didn't have the ones on screen yet. And then we have our ear speaker, which doubled as the loudspeaker. It only had one. And then here on the bottom we have our micro USB with our microphone hole right here. On the left side we have nothing. And then this design, it wanted to mimic like a plastic with a, I guess, an aluminum side, which was still plastic. Everything's plastic. On the right side, we have our volume buttons, and then at the top, we have our power/sleep button, our headphone jack, which RIP the headphone jack, especially on newer devices. And then we have our little tab or hole right there where we could actually pop the back of the phone off. We don't see that often. Oh, and we had our 3.2 megapixel camera in the back. So back here we had a micro SD card slot, and then we also had a removable battery. As you can see there, we don't see that often on devices nowadays. And then the battery capacity is 1500 milliamp hours. And then we had our full size SIM card slot right here, which nowadays we use, I think it's called nano or micro SIM card. And then as we all know, newer phones are moving to eSIMs. So this is going to be a thing of the past. As I put the battery back, as you can see, it has some of the plastic that came with it when it was brand new. And I guess they called it a Titan on some regions in different carriers. But we'll go ahead and slap the back just like that. Pretty weird thing that we don't really see that nowadays. And we'll go ahead and boot it up. Now booting it up, I remember it did show some animations, so we'll let it do that. Ah yes, our regular T-Mobile back in the day animation. Stick together, and then it'll say Android as it's booting up, letting you know that it is an Android phone. One thing that I like that they don't do anymore is have carrier text. I hate this. This is pretty much just a free promotion saying, hey, I got this phone from T-Mobile. I'm so glad that we got rid of that on the newer phones. I know some phones still have it depending on the carrier, but I'm glad we got rid of it in phones that you can buy unlocked. So here we have our lock screens. Here we had our little pattern code unlock back in the day, which everybody liked. I know I liked it a lot. And then here's my password. I don't care if you see it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people had the same password as me. But taking a look at the home screen, this is amazing because we don't even get this on the newer iPhones and even on Androids. This came stock. This is a stock wallpaper on this phone. I haven't downloaded anything to it. One, because the market or Play Store doesn't work anymore on it, as you can see. It'll just give me an error code, and we are connected to Wi-Fi. I'll demonstrate that by loading up Google real quick. As you can see, so we are connected to Wi-Fi, and the Android market doesn't work anymore. But yeah, this is a stock wallpaper and it's animated, right? You know, you see that often nowadays. You know, what's so cool about it, you might say? It is interactive. You can actually touch it and it reacts, even whenever you swipe. Now, why do I say this is so cool? Because we don't even have this on the iPhone. We have live wallpapers, but it's only on the lock screen, not on your home screen. And this is interactive. You can tap on it. Now, I tried looking around the specs, see how much RAM this phone had, but I couldn't really find exactly. Some places said that it had 170 megabytes, some places said that it had 512 megabytes of RAM, but the fact that it's able to run this in the background and still, you know, respond. I know it's not the fastest, but it still responds. That is pretty cool. And then the chip, I'm not really sure what manufacturer it is from. It might be Samsung. I don't know if it's TSMC or Texas Instruments, but it is a 600 megahertz CPU chip. Now, looking around the OS, we have our Google search, which, you know, we still see that a lot. Even on newer phones, a lot of them will have the search button. Mine is at the bottom of my Pixel, but back in the day, it was at the top. And then you could actually move it. So if you wanted to have it at the bottom, kind of like you would on a Pixel nowadays, you could pretty much do the same thing. There we go. So this looks pretty similar even after 14 years, because this came out in 2010. As you can see, it still has some similarities. We still have our app dock. This, you had to press it. Now we just swipe up, and of course it is much more responsive. As you can see there, pretty smoother animations versus back in the day. Right, and we actually have software updates, so we'll go ahead and let it install that. Running Android 14 compared to Android 2.2 Froyo. That is crazy. Now going ahead and taking a look at the apps that you got. App Pack from T-Mobile, which I'm pretty sure is pretty much non-existent. I doubt that it is still available. As you can see, the servers have been probably long gone. Your browser, calculator, calendar, camera, Car Home, which was a light version of like Android Auto. But back in the day, you got big old icons for whenever you were driving. You got your quick toggle to music, navigation, contacts, phone, stuff like that. Now, is it still safe to use it, especially, you know, considering that this is a 3.2-inch display? Definitely not, but at least it's better than having to, you know, go to the apps and individually selecting what you want. Now, as we continue, we have our clock, contacts, Dinner Dash, which was a game, Doodle Jump, which, man, I remember playing this so much whenever I got this phone, especially because it was included. Now, this was just a demo. You had to actually download the whole version or pay for the game. But man, I remember hours and hours of playing on this. Pretty simple game, but it's actually pretty fun. As you can see there, we'll go ahead and exit out of it. Continue with the tour of the apps that it came with. We have Drive Smart, which was a modern version of what the iPhone does nowadays, where it'll actually auto reply to a message saying, hey, I will get back to you or call you back whenever I'm done driving. I'm trying to focus on driving. As you can see right there, this is the message that it gave, and you can change it so it'll automatically send this out whenever you get a message or a call. So my calls and messages are being managed by Drive Smart. While I focus on driving, I will get back to you when I am no longer on the road. So whenever somebody texted you or called you, this would automatically auto reply to that person. We have email, Facebook, FM radio, which use your headphones as an antenna, gallery, Gmail. Now you do get two mail apps because, you know, it was back in the day when LG gave you one and Google gave you one as well. Google search, Latitude, which was pretty much just the map apps, self-explanatory, just maps. Market, messaging, music, and then music was local music that you had on your SD card. Back in the day, you know, we didn't have all the streaming apps, or if you did, it wasn't really that popular as they are now. Everybody preferred having their music locally on their device. We have My Account, My Device from T-Mobile, navigation, which surprisingly still works. It is currently searching for GPS, but once it gets an accurate signal, it should give you turn-by-turn navigation. And yeah, another quick thing, back in the day, we didn't have multitasking as we do now, where we swipe up and we see all the apps. We only got a couple apps, and we access that menu by holding down the home button. As you can see, we have our previously used apps, which if we tap on one, it actually saved a couple apps in the background. As you can see, it saved my game. I can continue where I left off, and I can go ahead and exit out of it. It wasn't the best multitasking, but it still worked for back in the day. Continuing on, we have our market, which no longer works. News and weather, which we'll see if it works. It no longer works. As you can see there, it just toggles through that. We had Pac-Man, which was the game, another game that was included. places, which gave you, you know, information of coffee shops, restaurants, hotels near you without having to go into the navigation app. I guess now it's better since it's integrated. Back in the day it wasn't. Settings, swipe tips. Now this phone included swipe to text, as you can see, and it would actually give you a tutorial because this supported swipe text. Some that, you know, the phones like the iPhone just got not too long ago, just a couple years back. Telenav, which was just a third-party navigation app. Think Free Office, which was like a PDF viewer. Twitter, now it's called X. Video player, video tour, visual voicemail, voice dialer, voice recorder, voice search. This was around the era where voice everything was becoming popular. It was around the era where Siri was introduced, so everybody was trying to copy it and trying to have their own voice to text, voice everything. We had Wi-Fi calling on this device, which you had to have a SIM card on to be able to turn it on. And YouTube, which no longer works, at least the app. So yeah, those are the apps that it came with the device. As you can see, we had our weather app, which shows something, but it's not accurate at all. At least I don't know if it was accurate for that day. It is currently January 20th. On here it says that it's January the 5th of 1980. That is crazy. So yeah, not that accurate. We had Facebook, which was, you know, another integrated app that came with. Everybody used Facebook back in the day. And of course, a lot of people still use Facebook now. But yeah, we'll go ahead and go into the settings to see what versions that this device is running. And it looks like we are running Android 2.2, which was, I think, the only version that this phone supported. I remember using it. I don't think I ever got an update while using this device. But yeah, guys, there you go. This was a quick look at what my first Android phone was. After that, I really haven't gone full Android. I do have a Pixel, but I also have an iPhone 15 Pro Max. But I still think this phone was amazing for the time that I had it. And I guess before we end the video, I would love to show you the camera. As you can see right there, it is a 3.1 or 3.2 megapixel camera, which records at 480p at I think 18 frames per second. But as you can see there, the quality is not the best. We didn't even get a flash. So yeah, the camera is not the best. We have two options, camera and photo. We didn't have any other settings that I know of. Oh, we actually did have settings. So we had zoom. You could zoom. Oh man, we didn't even have pinch to zoom. We had to do a toggle where we tapped. Can we drag? Oh, so we can actually drag on the zoom icon. Let's see. Let's drag all the way, see how that looks. If I'm able to do it, as you can see, the toggle keeps going away. I guess I'll just tap it. But as you can see there, zooming into the device, that is crazy. Look at my watch. This looks like a retro recording. That is amazing. Let's see what other settings. Brightness. VGA. Here we have our different resolutions that we can record at. Only 480p. You can even drop it down to 1440p. Now this looks like a retro video. Let me take a quick video. As you can see right there, we are currently recording with the LG Optimus T at a resolution of 1440p. Wow, this makes everything look old, and you can even zoom in and out while recording. So this was stuck. If you had it zoomed all the way in, you couldn't even switch it out. And then you can even change the scene to, I guess, different, whatever scene you were recording, whether it was at night. I guess it would brighten up the video. We'll just leave it on automatic, and we'll go ahead and shoot a quick clip. Now this should have the sound and the video coming from the LG Optimus T. As you can see right there, here we have our little setup. Here we have the Pixel. So let's see how it would look if we were doing a review with an LG Optimus T back in the day. As you can see, the video is not the worst of quality. I remember taking a couple videos and pictures with this, which is still, I mean, it's still usable nowadays. Now, we don't have any stabilization and stuff like that, so the video would be kind of shaky. But it's not the worst video that you could record nowadays. As you can see here, there we have my MacBook. But yeah, let me know how it looks. Alright, so we'll go ahead and play it back here on the device. Wow, the microphone sounds terrible. But I guess y'all had already seen the video, so we'll go ahead and exit out of it. We'll take a couple pictures as well, see how that looks like. See right there, we'll get a picture of my plant here, my little IKEA plant. As you can see there, can you zoom into it? No, we cannot, but we have the option to set it as a wallpaper. Let's see what options we have on the camera. We have zoom, brightness, focus. We had macro? No way. Looks like the macro doesn't work that well. We'll go ahead and take a picture. This is what apparently macro looked like. We'll go ahead and go back to automatic, and we have face tracking. That is crazy. And manual mode. No way. Was this our focus? This was our focus. You could manually focus on this device or on this phone. We don't even get that nowadays. Whoa, that looks pretty clear for the distance that it's in. That is crazy. You could manually focus on this old LG Optimus T. You can't even do that on newer phones. That is amazing. All right, we'll go ahead and exit out of that, and I guess with that said, we'll go ahead and end the video here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like down below, subscribe, and let me know if you own the LG Optimus T. I know they had another version on Sprint. I think it was also called the LG Optimus something. But let me know if you had this phone. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Back in the day, I used to be big into DJing. I downloaded a couple DJ apps on here. How did the phone support it and run it? I am not sure, especially with its low quality chip. But yeah, I still remember using it all the time back in the day. Like I mentioned, this was my first ever Android phone, and I fully enjoyed it. And with that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. I guess before I go, we'll go ahead and shut it down since it actually gives you a goodbye animation. Alright, we'll go ahead and power it off, and it should give us a goodbye animation. There we go. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.